What, you're talking to me? What do you want? Oh, is that my pen? Yeah, I was wondering where that went. Thanks. I didn't even notice I'd dropped it. Must have rolled off the desk or something. Well, I appreciate it. Can I help you? Oh, you're that new kid, right? First day, huh? Yep, that sounds fun. I remember when I came here for the first time. I knew it was going to be hell right away. Well, it's lunch, so it's a bit of a break from all the crap that you have to go through. So you might as well enjoy it instead of just standing around here. Oh, you don't know where the cafeteria is? Well, tell you the truth, the cafeteria sucks. Do you usually bring your own lunch or do you buy food? Oh, you forgot to bring a lunch today? Huh, well, I guess there's a lot of stuff to remember when you're starting in a new school. Lunch isn't the end of the world. Okay. Well, I'll let you in on a secret. The best place to get lunch where it's not crowded and it's easy to get to is the gas station just around the corner. I go there almost every day. They have really cheap pizza and hot dogs. And sure, it's just greasy, but it's not going to be bad. Keeps you full until the end of school, that's for sure. That, and they also have slushies, so I love to just load mine up with like every flavor on there and see which one is the best. And then next time I'll mix a whole bunch of different ones and try and come up with the best combination possible. That's just a tip from me to you. So yeah, good luck, have fun. What? Are you waiting for me? Look, kid, I usually just go places on my own. Kinda gave up on that whole friendship thing. So, go ahead. Try and find someone else headed to the gas station. Make idle conversation or whatever it is that normal people do. You're just gonna have to give me a minute because I'm trying to find my eraser too. I remember I was flicking it around my desk just bored and then it flew off in the other direction, so just go on ahead. I'm really not going to be hanging out with you. Believe me, I'm the last person you want to make friends with. I'd probably just make you feel bad. Ugh. I really can't find it anywhere. What the hell? Oh, you grabbed that too? Well, looks like you're just full of surprises. Thanks for spotting that. Alright, well, I guess I owe you for finding my favorite pen and my eraser. Fine, I'll walk you to the gas station. But I'm not gonna pay for your meal, okay? It's like $4 total, so you might as well just buy it yourself. I don't want people thinking that I'm gonna be their sugar daddy or something. There's that bitch Rachel. The other day, her water bottle spilled all over my test paper, and she acted like it was an accident, but I know that she did it just to bother me. Hate her ass. But I have an idea of how to get her back, so not worried about it. Oh, and you see that guy over there? That's Steven. He's the older brother of this guy that once scribbled all over my locker in Sharpie, and I was the one who had to scrub it off. It took like all day. And I had detention too, because apparently people thought I did it. and destruction of property, or whatever it is that they call graffiti. Ugh, pain in my ass. But anyway, I'm gonna be telling that guy that his little brother was making out with his girlfriend. That way we're not gonna have anyone messing with me anymore. I'm just so goddamn tired of it all. My friends? Did you not hear me? I said I gave up on the whole friends thing. Yeah, I guess there used to be a few cool people that I spent my time with, but they all turn into snakes, and then they stab you in the back. So the only appropriate thing to do in return is stab them right back in their back. It's a waste of time, honestly, but an eye for an eye, right? If I let someone get away with their crime, I'll never be able to sleep at night. Maybe I should become a lawyer or something, right? Just kidding. I probably won't even graduate high school, let alone make it into law school. Anyway. Yeah, you just gotta turn right at this corner. And it's about 2 blocks down. And sure, it smells like cigarettes, and there's truckers everywhere scratching their ass cracks, but believe me, best place to get lunch in the whole town. Though, if it weren't so far, I'd say we should go to the shawarma place. That is some good food, and it's cheap. Better than pizza, better than a hot dog, hell, better than a burger. Though, you really can't beat a slushie, that's for sure. There's something so perfect about being able to fill your own cup up and then decide how many shots of flavor you want in it. And the best part about this gas station is they don't charge per shot, they just charge for the cup size. It's so stupid when corner stores or gas stations are like, yeah, you can only put 1 flavor shot, or if you do another one, we're going to charge you an extra 30 cents. Like, excuse me? I'm going to put as many flavor shots in there as I want. God. The system sucks. Anyway, why'd you transfer here in the first place? Are you from out of town? Oh, okay. Yeah, makes sense. Your life's probably more interesting than mine. I just live with my dad in an apartment down the road. He just smokes and drinks all day. Probably doesn't even notice if I get home in the evening or not. But at the same time, he's not a bad dude. He actually drives trucks for a living, so sometimes he's away for days at a time, and I guess he kind of just forgets that I'm around too. Always leaves me with some cash, though, which I appreciate. What about your parents? Are they huge squares, or are they overprotective, or how are they? Hell, maybe you don't even have parents, for all I know. Yeah? Well, there you go. Everyone's situation is their own, and it's hard to judge how hard someone's life is based on your own experiences. Hell, people always think that I'm living the worst life out there because they've seen the apartment, and they think that everything's falling apart. But honestly, I'm not too unhappy with it. I see some of those cookie cutter McMansions down by the lake, and I just think, God, can you imagine how far someone's head would have to be up their own ass to think that that's a nice place to live? I'm sure they like to go out on their motorboat on the lake and just think about how cool they are, and spend hours sitting there with a fishing rod just doing nothing but staring at the water rippling, and just thinking about how nice it is to have money. Like, miserable. People like me, we get to learn the real value of things. We get to rough it, learn on the streets, actually have an opportunity to mess up and learn from our mistakes, instead of just having Daddy Dearest bail us out at the nearest opportunity. God. Some of the crap that kids get away with around here, it's ridiculous. Like, there's this girl, year ahead of us, her name's Nancy. And oh my god, she crashed her friend's parents' car into the goddamn lake and managed to get off with just a slap on the wrist. No demerit points, no revoking of her license, nothing from her friend's parents even. They basically just threw money at the problem and voila, it was gone. And she's sure as shit gonna do something similar in the near future, I'm sure. Whereas someone like me, I probably won't own my own car until I'm 30. And that means I'm gonna value it all the more. You know what I mean? Oh, and just wait until you hear about the sick parties that kids have in those stupid mansions. Word of advice: go once, but go with a friend, and don't drink anything. I'd just say people watch, if that's your thing. It's an interesting place to do that, but not the best place to make friends or have a good time if you don't like taking 5 Xans and falling asleep on a couch, letting people pour all sorts of booze over you and drop dicks on your forehead. Not that I've had that experience, but I know a guy, so. What's that? You think the town sounds interesting? Well, not really. There's dick all to do around here. For the most part, we just sit around twiddling our thumbs, wishing that a movie would come out in theaters that was actually worth watching. Sometimes I'll go over to the arcade because for some reason that's still around, and pop a couple coins into a machine and have fun. Can't afford my own game console. Actually, I used to have an Xbox 360 that came from my cousin, but my dad ended up accidentally pouring a beer on that, so, well, it is what it is. I didn't really have any good games for it anyway, so I wasn't heartbroken. Oh well, what about you? What do you normally do in your spare time? Before you came to this place, I mean. That doesn't sound so bad. Hey, you know what you might like actually? There's this little park just around the other side of the lake, away from all the rich people. It's this community-owned thing, so our tax dollars pay for it. And they maintain like a pool and a splash pad and all that stuff for little kids, but there's also this tennis court. And honestly, getting out there, whacking a few tennis balls around, it really makes all your troubles melt away. So, maybe you should head out there sometime. Find a buddy. Just hit a ball around, scream, yell, run. You feel pretty free. And then afterwards, you can take a dip in the pool, which I can guarantee will be freezing cold, which is probably for the best this time of year. They just don't heat it. Me? I actually don't know how to swim, but I do like playing tennis, so maybe one day, if I'm feeling especially pissed off, we can meet up at the court and just whack it out, you know what I mean? That sounded not exactly how I wanted it to. Nah, whatever. Anyway, here we are. So, what do you think you're gonna get? Greasy as hell slice of pizza? Giant greasy hot dog? Alright, sounds good to me. I'm gonna grab a hot dog today. And how about... normally I just go for a large slushie, but I'm kind of feeling the extra large. Because I have math next period, and I can tell you, Miss Robinson's voice is enough to put anyone to sleep. When I sit in that class, I have my textbook out in front of me, and the next thing I know, I have a page stuck to my cheek and drool all over the book. So, having a big slushie with me might just keep me awake for once. Now to pick the flavors. Yesterday, I went with banana, strawberry, and kiwi, as well as a bit of watermelon. And, well, it wasn't bad. Better than some of my previous flavor combinations, but I probably could have done without the watermelon. And today, I'm kind of feeling some of their more decadent flavors. Vanilla caramel, chocolate cake, and what the hell? Throw in a bit of raspberry. Alright, now it's your turn. Impress me. Not bad taste at all. Well, all we gotta do now is go up to the counter and ring it up, and then walk all the way back to school. I know, it's not a long walk or anything, but after you've eaten the gas station food, it feels like an eternity. So I recommend you eat as you go. Alright, are you ready to go? Perfect. Let's head on back. Not that I'm especially anxious to get to math class, but I really can't stand to be late again. My dad hates getting phone calls from the school. Mostly because he never knows what to do about it. He's like, whatever. You didn't show up to class? How's that my problem? Like, exactly. What's he supposed to do? Yell at me? Tell me I'm not trying hard enough? He'd probably just pat me on the back and say, "Hope you had a good day, kid." That's what he usually does anyway. It's a weird spectrum of kids here. There's the ones like me that live in the super rundown apartments and the townhouses and the co-op districts. And most of us, we try, but not like super hard. Some of us skip class a lot. Some of us just show up late. And then there's those medium range kids whose parents work good jobs and they have like their little 2-story house, their condo, a basement, maybe even a pool in the backyard if they're lucky. And those are the ones whose parents baby them like crazy. Constantly getting calls and texts on the phone that they have to reply to right away, or else they get like a weekly allowance, but they get in trouble for spending it on anything they actually like. And every single grade they get is scrutinized. I feel so bad for those kids. But then there's the rich ones. They, like I said, get away with anything. I remember this one time, Andrea, she's in our grade, she skipped like 5 whole days of school because she wanted to go out to a cabin with one of her friends from a different town. And her parents just told the school that she was sick. And they didn't even care that she didn't tell them ahead of time. It was so ridiculous. Even that, I think my dad would be pretty pissed off about. Imagine your kid just skips town for nearly a week and doesn't give you warning. Insane. Not sure I want to have kids of my own, seeing how people are raised in this town. Weird question, but do you plan on having kids in the future? Not gonna lie, I did not expect that coming from you. No offense. Now and then I think it would be nice to settle down and maybe have 1 or 2 kids and be able to do fun things with them. Watch them grow up. Make sure they're happy, all that stuff. But at the same time, I really want to take a few years and kind of backpack around Europe, different places in the world that I would never get to see otherwise. Just rough it on my own. And I don't really need a relationship or a family holding me down. There's a lot of shit to see out there, and this town really ain't a place that I want to stay for too much longer, you know what I mean? I think it would be super cool to have one of those jobs where you're traveling all the time. Not a trucking job like my dad, because he doesn't really get to see any of the places that he passes through. But more like a travel journalist, or a photographer, or like a food critic. Though, given what I eat on a regular basis, I don't exactly have a discerning palate. I mean, this slushie is probably considered a monstrosity by any 3-star restaurant, that's for sure. Tastes pretty good to me, though. I think this has made it into my top 10 flavor combinations. Alright, now give your cup here, I'm gonna try yours. Yeah, that's not bad either. Still think I prefer mine though. Here, do you want to try some? There you go. What can I say? I'm a master. You've a lot to learn about the art of slushie making. Maybe that's what I should do when I'm older. Think the people at the gas station would hire me? Alright, looks like we're back at school. And I'm all out of hot dog. So, I guess I ought to head back to my locker, grab my cozy math textbook covered in slobber, and hey, maybe I'll see you around. Take care, okay, new kid?